What up, donkeys? Jack Haze here with JackAce.com, and I'm here with my lesson number 3 on solving the Rubik's Cube in the easiest, simplest way. In my last lesson, we left the cube in this state with a solved side and the connected edges solved as well. In today's lesson, we're going to expand on what was solved before, and we're going to get the cube into this state. We're going to add these 4 yellow pieces, and when we finish today's lesson, you'll be able to make this X on the bottom. So before we start today's lesson, you need to get your cube into this state. Hopefully you've already purchased one of these magic cubes from Amazon. If you haven't, you can buy one using the link in my video's description. This is a clone Rubik's Cube that's made with something that appears to be Legos. What's great about it is we can concentrate on just the colors, just the pieces we want to solve. So to start today's lesson, you need to get in this state. All 9 white pieces on top with a T of red on the left, with a T of blue on the right. On the opposite of red, you need a T of orange. On the opposite of blue, you need a T of green. And then on the bottom, you need an X out of the yellows. If you have a problem pulling off any of these Lego pieces, take some unused pieces in a stack like this, press down hard, give it a little twist, and rock it back and forth until that piece comes up like that. If you do it that way, you're gonna save your fingernails and you'll thank me later. So before we start today's lesson, you need to be able to get your cube into this state with 0 problems at all. If you can't do that, you need to keep watching and learning from lesson number 1 and lesson number 2. After those videos, you'll be able to get your cubes into this state. Unlike the previous video, we're not gonna rehash the previous lessons. We're just gonna start from this state and move forward. So before I start today's lesson, I'm gonna scramble this cube up a little bit. So here's a typical state we might find in the cube after we make these T's. We look at the yellow face and we see 0 corners that are solved. So we need to get the cube into that state. Now, in order to do that, I gotta teach you one move. This is the first time I'm teaching you a maneuver that needs to be memorized. And when I do this maneuver, I do it in the following way. I keep the solve side on the left. I have the side I wanna solve on the right, and the other faces are pretty much irrelevant. You're gonna rotate it back and forth like this according to how you want it to be faced. But what's important is solve side on the left, side to solve on the right, and this is the maneuver we're going to do. So keeping the solve side on the left, I want you to look at this corner. We're going to move the top face to the right face back. We're going to move that top face to the left, so back into its original position. And then we're going to move the front face to move that white piece back into its original position with 3 whites connected here. We're going to move the top face left so it's out of the way, and we're going to move this front face so the 2 broken white pieces go back in place, and then we're going to move that top face to the right, reuniting all 9 white pieces. And now that we've done that, we have 1 solved piece. And so far I haven't taught you what pieces actually get moved, but I'm going to show you that right now. When you do that maneuver, you're going to keep 1 corner piece in place and you're going to rotate each of the 3 other corners counterclockwise. If you look at these corners, this corner, this piece will move here. This piece will also move counterclockwise here. This piece will also move counterclockwise here. So one little trick that I do when I try to figure out which pieces are going to move where, I put a knuckle in the top corner and I put 3 fingers down on the right side of each of those 3 corners. So you can see that my knuckle and these 3 fingers are each touching the yellow. That means after I perform this maneuver, all 4 of the yellows will be on the top. So let's start with the white on the left, that immovable piece on the bottom corner closest to me, and we're gonna do that same maneuver. So top face to the right, right face up, top face to the left, front face counterclockwise, top face to the left, front face, we're going to move these 2 whites back into place, and then top face to the right, all these whites back together again, and now we look and we see we've made that X. So one important thing is you need to be able to get this cube from whatever configuration you have at the bottom, whether that's 0 solved yellow pieces, 1 solved yellow piece, or 2 solved yellow pieces. From that, you need to be able to get it either with all 4 corners solved or just 1 corner. That should be your goal. So usually I put my knuckle here, my 3 fingers here, and I count how many yellows I'm touching. So here I'm touching 2, give it another twist. Here I'm still touching 2, give it another 90-degree rotation. Here I'm touching 1, so this should be my candidate for where I perform this maneuver. After this maneuver, we will end up with one solved corner. That's here. And from here, we know how to perform that same maneuver, and we will eventually get it into the solved state. So that's how you get the yellow X. So what's good about this maneuver is that you can do it over and over, and every 3 rotations, it'll be back to its original position. So here we're gonna do it again. Let's do it 3 times in a row. I'll do it maybe a little bit slower. Top face to the right, right face up, top face to the left. Keep watching this one corner, see where it goes. Front face counterclockwise, top face to the left, front face with these 2 whites on the bottom, front face clockwise, and then top face to the left, reuniting the 9 whites, and you can see that we've moved 3 pieces out of place. So let's keep our knuckle here, touch these 3 right pieces, and you can see after we've done this maneuver, we will still only have 1 solved corner. And these pieces will move to the other corner. Watch this. Top, right, top, front, top, front, top. And now we're in that situation where the top is still solved. If I put my fingers here, each finger is touching a yellow piece. So if I perform that same maneuver now, we have that X. And this is where we want to end today's lesson. You should be able to perform this X every time without any problems. So you have to memorize this maneuver. It is the first of maybe 3 or 4 maneuvers you have to memorize, but this is one of the harder ones actually. There's another one that's somewhat hard, the rest are very easy, but this is probably one of the most difficult ones. If you can memorize this and 1 additional maneuver, you have gone over the hump. Once we are able to do this lesson and maybe the next lesson, you will be over the hump. Everything is easy after that. So if you're having problems with this, you should just try to muscle through. I swear after this lesson and the next, everything will become easy. So that's the end of today's lesson. For your homework, you need to get your cube in this state very easily, and you need to memorize that 1 maneuver and make it part of your muscle memory. So you just need to be doing it over and over using the method that I showed you. Keep the solved piece here and do the maneuver 3 times. Every 3rd time, it should go back into this solved state. So that's the end of today's lesson. Make sure you do your homework. Make sure you memorize this maneuver. Make sure it's part of your muscle memory. If you enjoy this content, if you enjoy this series, let me know in the comments below. Also remember to like and subscribe. Always gamble responsibly, and peace out, donkeys.